Today is the last day of school for Pocono Mountain students, but it is bittersweet as some students will not be returning to their schools. As you can see, President Barack Obama has finally arrived at Scranton High School. I'm Vanessa Freeman. I'll tell you why they came to that decision on the Pocono Report. Thank you, George. Well, residents say this is right out of an episode of Hoarders, from piles of trash in the front yard to a large number of household pets. In a unanimous vote, the jury found Michael Parrish guilty of first-degree murder. Officials say the two men died on impact from multiple blunt force injuries to the head and chest. Sadly, the search has ended for 61-year-old Angela Mayo. The coroner pronounced her dead at 1:17 this afternoon. Representative Rosemary Brown put a stop order on this project last Thursday. After the shooting this morning, police made one arrest. A series of interviews led them to another suspect. In honor of January officially being declared Learning Snow Sports Month, they actually say they would be done with their work today if not for this leaning pole. The Sunburst pageant made its way to the Poconos, and a handful of anxious tots and parents were ready to compete for one of these. Inside the black bag were the remains of what they believe is a male between the ages of 45 and 60. I'm live at the Pocono Raceway for one of the biggest NASCAR races. Right now, the focus is on the Delaware River. EMA officials say it's at 21 feet. Assalamu alaikum, Michael.
Wa alaikum assalam.
That's right, George. The jury has reached a verdict. They have sentenced Michael Parrish to death on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Thank you, George. That robber was hoping to leave with cash, but employees served him up some coffee instead.
It didn't feel real at first. It was just like, oh my God, I was actually just almost robbed. Tamara Keene has been working at the Dunkin Donuts across the street from Stroud Mall for 3 years, and on Saturday night, she ended her shift the same way she always has, cleaning the back area, then making her way to the front of the store. But this night, a customer came in, making a strange request. He kind of tried to whisper to give me the cash out the register, and I really kind of said, excuse me. Tamara and her co-worker, Angel, were behind the counter while one customer sat at a table when a man described as a 30 to 40-year-old white male wearing a baseball cap and a black hoodie entered the store asking for money. At first, they thought the man was joking. Then they realized he was serious. When he told our customer to get up and come behind the counter with us. She then dialed 911 on her cell phone. Meanwhile, her coworker Angel noticed the man kept one hand in his pocket, but refusing to give him money, she tried to get rid of the robber herself. She put the coffee on him, and then she put the water on him, and I was already on the phone with 911. She sprayed him with the coffee. He turned his face a little bit so it wouldn't get on his face, and he was like, don't make me come back there. Like, that was what he said, but he didn't really do anything. The robber didn't brandish any weapons and walked out with no money. Stroud area regionals say these robberies are becoming common, but this case is certainly different. People like to read or see stories like this where the alleged perpetrator gets a little bit of a comeuppance, but you take a risk when you do that. Parrish says while this story had a happy ending, it could have been tragic had a weapon been involved. I don't want anyone to mistake that for any kind of endorsement of doing this kind of activity. This quiet neighborhood in Smithfield Township is somewhat off the beaten path.
It is, yeah, it's such a nice neighborhood, right?
Like many residential neighborhoods, people leave their car doors unlocked. But around 3:30 this morning, 2 cars along Stonegate Drive were entered and rifled through. Residents say one of those cars belonged to a retired Washington, D.C. cop who had a 9mm handgun in his vehicle. Now, after his vehicle was rifled through, the suspect fired one shot that traveled clear through the neighborhood. That bullet ended at Patricia O'Reilly's home, more than 100 feet from where the gun was fired.
About 3:45 this morning, I heard this snap of a sound. It sounded like something falling on the tile. I searched around, couldn't find anything. I knew I wasn't dreaming. Came out, found curtain kind of funny in the front room, and then found the bullet hole in the window.
The bullet traveled halfway through her home, hitting the railing of her porch and into the window of her grandchildren's playroom.
And then there was more. I kind of just got ready for the troopers to come, and it was when they came that they showed me the direction of it, which went through the wall and into another room even.
The bullet from the 9mm traveled the entire length of her corridor and ended up in her office.
And brought actually some of the stuffing from the couch in the far room with it over to here.
While O'Reilly realizes it could have been worse, she says the reality of what happened is still surreal.
That's why I just couldn't believe it was a bullet, because, you know, it just never, we're in a pretty good neighborhood here, very good neighborhood, very good neighbors and everything.
Swiftwater State Police are still investigating, looking for the suspect or suspects involved. In Monroe County, I'm Vanessa Freeman, News 13.
The building wasn't going like this, it was going like this, and the foundation, you actually saw the cement coming up the foundation, the floors were, you know, coming up and down.
The Diolosas have had their mortgage business on Ann Street for almost a decade. Since construction began on the 7th Street Bridge last year, they've had no issues until the drilling and hammering started last Wednesday.
Floors everywhere shaking like this.
And it didn't end there. Dioloso says the vibration from the drilling across the street cracked tiles and dropped the foundation on the first and second floor 4 inches. It also shattered sections of the wall in their basement.
I'm a little upset at the way they conducted this project. As you look behind us, there's no safety nets up for glass to be coming over. In case it came over and cracked the windows in the building and hurt one of our employees. Also, they put no seismographers in the basement before the project started.
Diolosa says a few PennDOT contractors from J.D. Eckman Incorporated ignored his warnings.
I went like this to them: time out, stop. What is going on? The guy in the excavator goes to me like this. They just don't care.
Diolosa notified Representative Rosemary Brown, who took action. Representative Rosemary Brown put a stop order on this project last Thursday. Now today she says construction workers should be putting in a seismograph, but as you can see, no one's here. Now once that seismograph is in, they'll begin reading the vibrations caused by the drilling, and after that they'll have to take the project day by day.
We are looking into the concerns of this property owner, something we take seriously, and we won't start work until this investigation has been fully run out.
As the investigation continues, Catherine Diolosa, who owns the mortgage company, is fearful for herself and her employees in the damaged building. She says her business has also taken a hit.
I understand that this project needed to be done, but why would you want to have a customer come into your building when you have things going on that it just doesn't give them a very safe and secure feeling?